Thank you for watching part 2 with Dr. Shahzad Salim. This is part 3. I hope you will enjoy this as well. Please let me know what you think of any other episode or this 3-part series with Dr. Shahzad. And I also hope that you have subscribed to the channel and have visited my website lightupwithshua.com. Let me know and stay tuned for more interesting, amazing guests coming up soon. Thank you. Do you have anything on that?
Right.
Do you have any research
So
or your
I think
experience?
there are two things. One of them is that patriarchal attitude, which those societies have, that male dominant attitude in which they force the individuals. That is one of the main reasons. And the other reason is the exposure they have to the Western culture, because that culture is already a culture in which these relationships have already been weakened. So that has an effect, because many children from Pakistan, they go and study there, and likewise they have exposure. So that exposure also affects them. But primarily, I would say it's the patriarchal culture in these Eastern societies in which male. I always call it male hegemony. It's this extreme male hegemony which is the reason that we still find women in our societies as oppressed. Look at this thing called honor killings or marriage with the Qur'an or things like that, which are absolutely, I mean, they're heinous. We cannot even describe them. So that is one of the reasons that I would say.
Thank you so much. So my last leg of questions. So what is wealth in your experience?
In my experience, knowledge is wealth. Experience is wisdom is wealth. I would say that the two greatest things which can be assets as wealth is knowledge and wisdom.
Okay, thank you. Continue if you have something more to say.
Knowledge and wisdom is something which really makes a person wealthy, because a person who is knowledgeable, a person who is wise, is a person who is always a person who is going to benefit the society. He can solve the problems of the society. He or she is a person to whom other people can look up to. He can bring more prosperity to the society, because he or she is going to use the knowledge and the wisdom, which is the result of that knowledge, to bring more peace and happiness and joy to the people that they live in. So the two pillars of wealth, I would say, this of course does not mean that wealth does not relate to money or material means, because they also are needed as much for our material existence.
Yes.
But mankind, as the Prophet Jesus has rightly said, that we are not mere material. It's not just the food that we eat. It's also that word which comes out of the mouth of God, which nourishes us.
Yeah.
So we have the spiritual aspect and we have this material aspect. So the spiritual aspect is nourished by the wisdom and knowledge that we have, and the material aspect is nourished and reared by the material sources that we have. So both are needed. But if we have material success or material things at the cost of knowledge and wisdom, then this is something, of course, which would not be at the right balance. So again, here is the golden mean. We have to have wisdom and knowledge, and of course, we must not disregard the wealth and assets that the Almighty has given us, because those wealth and assets have to be used, again, for not only to our own advantage, but they have to be paid back to the society that we live in, and we have to share what we have with other people. We must not look down upon wealth as if it is something bad. No, it's not bad. Of course, we need it. We need the resources. 40% or 35% of the world today is living below the poverty line. So the wealth is going to obviously benefit them. So we must not look down upon what wealth is, but we must revere wisdom and knowledge more than we do regarding the material aspect.
Okay. What is the value of gratitude in your life?
Supreme value. You see, it's the basis of our relationship with our Creator. The Almighty has blessed us with so many things and so many favors that we can simply not count them. And it is this relationship which comes into being with our Creator that we are not able to acknowledge all the favors and all the gifts that He has given us. And because that cannot happen, we are always in a state of gratitude to the Creator. Look at our normal bodies, look at the parents, look at the environment, look at the small things that we have. I mean, we think of a certain thing and the next moment we are able to achieve that. And how many people in the world are not able to do that? And however much we might be deprived of certain things, if we make a list of things that we have and the list of things that we might be complaining of, that list is huge.
I was going to ask, like, how can somebody be thankful, because many
So,
people are always complaining.
so
So how do
I
you get
always
that?
I always say that it's like a gratitude walk.
Uh-huh.
That we have a nature walk. When we appreciate nature, we have a nature walk. We used to do that when we were growing up in schools.
Mm-hmm.
So we must educate our children to have this gratitude walk. When you go out in the streets, maybe when you're driving a car, look at the people who are cycling, or maybe they're standing at bus stops, or people who are, when you pass by shops, look at the people who are standing there waiting for customers, and they don't know whether they're going to come today or not, and they might have to shut their shops without any customers. So it's like realizing the environment in which you are. Look at the hospitals, look at the graveyards even. And I do remember this famous incident with one of my friends. When he got married, he actually, the first thing that he did, he took his wife to a graveyard, and his wife was extremely, she was annoyed also, and she was surprised as well. But the guy had a point to make, and he said that whatever you do in our life, let's start by realizing that this is our last place. This is the place that we're going to come to. So if we have the priorities in our life set properly, by viewing that this is our last place, we will always be in the right frame of mind. So this gratitude walk, this gratitude ride when you're riding a car, and always drenching yourselves with the fact that how your Lord has been kind to you in so many ways. I mean, this breathing that we do involuntarily. I have seen patients die of lung cancer in which they have to voluntarily breathe. Imagine yourself drawing a breath
Every
voluntarily.
time.
It's so irritating. You happen to do it without any voluntary activity.
Yes.
So imagine yourself drawing a breath every now and then on a voluntary basis, and you'll get sick and tired of your own self. So cancer patients, especially lung cancer patients, they have to go through this ordeal, and it's a big ordeal. So we take so many things for granted. I mean, the eyes that you're there, the ears that you have. Once I was at an office trying to submit a document, and there was a very young child. I mean, he was about 20 years old or so, a very handsome boy. He had some documents in his hands, and I had some documents to submit as well. Specifically, it was a visa actually for a travel, and I was so attracted by his personality that I started to talk with him, and I said, okay. And without realizing that he was not answering me, I had actually gone about 40 seconds in my talk, and then he said, I'm a deaf person. So it literally shook me. He was so handsome. He had such an attractive personality, and the documents that he was carrying were very imposing as well, that I didn't realize that simply not being able to hear what your environment is to offer you are nowhere. And we take our faculty of hearing to be granted. So let's not take things for granted. Let's always count these things that we take for granted, and that will make us more grateful individuals.
Thank you. What is the value of time?
Time is, I would say, money, and money is something that we always value. The biggest asset that we have is time, because if we value time, we will end up being valued ourselves, and if we waste time, we might end up wasting ourselves. Time is the biggest asset that we have, so therefore we must keep count of every second of our life. We must plan our lives. We must have a timetable set before us. This is what I'm going to do today. We should have a checklist. And I think any person who wants to be a high achiever in life, who wants to do something in life, has to be a person who has the greatest value given to time. Because it is the time that you don't realize it goes away that can make or break you. It can build you and it can break you. So if you utilize time for your own well-being, not only for your own well-being, but for the society also, you'll realize that 24 hours are not enough.
Thank you. Are you a conscious person about the environment? Like, do you recycle, or
very much.
Are you able to do that in Pakistan?
As much
we don't
as we
have
can.
the setup there.
What I do is that we at least create this awareness among people that we have to recycle things. And my sister, who is based in Karachi, she is actually a specialist in this, and she would not let us throw away anything. For example, shopping bags or paper or anything. She says that everything has a value. And in Karachi, actually, there is this person who has actually built sort of a house. It's not a house. It's like a room from pieces of paper put together on top of each other and gluing them together, and she's made a whole structure out of it, giving us this awareness that everything has a use in it. So recycling and reclaiming things is, although it's relatively new phenomenon in Pakistan, but people are coming up to it, and we must create. I think the starting point of all such things is to create an awareness of these
Yep.
things, because it's a lack of awareness which prevails there. It's more of ignorance.
Yep.
As soon as you make people aware that how you can contribute with broken things, with things which you just throw away, you just start giving them this,
Well,
this
our
notion.
culture used to be more of a mending culture and a fixing culture rather than throwing it and buying it
Right.
new. That wasn't the
So that
practices
was
what I
right.
remember growing up.
That is the case. So
But
actually, we have to be people who are very thrifty. We have to be very, very careful in the living that we conduct ourselves. For example, we have so many things that are of use and we are not using
Yeah.
them. In fact, we end up buying them again.
Yep.
So let's make a list of things which we have and which we can spare for other people. So it's like sharing and sparing. Spare things which you do not use. It could be anything. It could be medicine. It could be clothes. It could be shoes, bags, sheets, furniture, crockery, cutlery. So many things which
Yep.
we
can
don't even
recycle.
use.
Yep,
Which
sure.
not only recycle.
And not to buy enough, buy too
we
much.
can actually
Yeah.
contribute.
Yeah.
We can actually give them as donations to
Yep.
people who might be needing them.
Yep. Yep.
If we have 6 pairs of shoes and we are only using 2 or 3 of them,
Yeah.
and at times we even forget the number of shoes that we have. So why should we go along with this lifestyle?
Yeah, because in Pakistan, I think we do take care of the we do contribute in gardening, which is another way of contributing to the environment,
Right.
and having more vegetation and plantation. And the government also has been on quite rigorously doing that. So
Right.
planting the trees and all. But I think everybody should be doing that, and instead of
Absolutely.
cutting down the trees.
So environmental pollution, environmental some which
Yeah.
everything which belongs to your environment
Yeah.
is an asset to you, because the source of oxygen
Yeah.
is the greenery around you. And
Yep.
if you cut down trees and if you cut down vegetation, and we don't realize that the fumes of carbon dioxide that we consume on roads as a result of noise pollution and car pollution, they affect us adversely. They cause so many health issues. Again, this is a matter of awareness.
Yeah.
In third world countries, this awareness is still lacking, and a lot needs to be.
But the Quran does talk about the environment. Like when we
does
talk
talk
about the
about
Hajj, that you are not supposed to break any
Right.
leaf or all that.
Right.
That I think that's another way to talk
that's
about the
another way,
environment,
of
right?
course. The environment is something in which we have to educate our children that the religion that we follow and the innate guidance which God has given us is one in which it tells us that we have to be custodians of this
Yes.
environment. We have
Exactly.
to be the person who looks after his orchard. We have to look after the environment in which we are in, because we are the greatest beneficiaries of this environment. And if we don't behave properly, it's going to be counterproductive. Also, they are living beings in the environment. I mean, plants are living beings, animals
Yes.
are living beings. They contribute to the environment that you live in. And if you don't care for them, I cannot say that, but I do think that God will not care for us. How would he get this mercy going on for us if we are not merciful to others?
Yep. All right. So I assume that you have found the purpose of your life. What is the purpose of your life?
Well, my purpose in life is to educate the youth or the next generation regarding a lot of things which go unchecked, maybe, or wrongly under the label of religion. And my purpose is to try my best to educate them that a lot of things that they understand in the name of religion are not actually religion, and they are misconceptions, and that they have to empower themselves. They must not become reactionary individuals. They must become contributing individuals. Or I can say that this in another way, and that is to empower the silent majority. You see, it's the silent majority which is silent, it is sleeping and most of the times, and to make them realize that the silent majority can make a difference. If they realize that they can empower themselves and know what's going on. So it's like making that silent majority come out of their slumber and do something in accordance with their own aptitude and ability.
Thank you. Any message of hope for people that you have?
Well, I think the biggest hope, the message of hope I have is what I always call the power of one. You see, one person, it's just a question of one person realizing or lighting his or her candle and leading the way. And as soon as you do that, you find that, as I said earlier on, silent majority, it suddenly rises from its slumber. It realizes that it just takes one person to take the first step, and then all the rest follow. So the never underestimate yourself. You can be that one person, that one step, that one measure that you can take. It can break the ice. It can make a lot of people meaningful who were actually just not realizing the purpose of existence. So never underestimate yourself. That one candle, that one step, that one way forward can be really a trendsetter. It could be a trailblazer. It could be an entirely new phenomena which could awaken a lot of sleeping souls. So the power of one is something that we must appreciate.
Thank you. And my last question is, what lights you up?
When I see the younger minds really trying to find out what the truth is, they sincerely finding out what the truth is, and then they actually not only side by the truth, they abide by the truth. They give their lives for the truth. So what lights me up is that a person lives for the ideals that he or she has set before himself, because God is not going to ask you about what the ideals other person had set before him. The truth that is to me dear is the test of that truth is how sincere I am in following in practice that particular truth, and that really lights me up. And it doesn't matter if I see a person who is absolutely opposing to what I view, because I find him to be a sincere person. And if you want, I just relate a small incident here.
Yes, please.
And once I was traveling, uh, I think I'm not sure from where to where, but as I boarded the plane, I was sitting at the back, and I saw a bearded chap coming from the front, and he was given a seat between two women actually. And as soon as he reached his place and he realized that he would be sitting between two women, he actually called the steward, the air hostess, and said, "I'm not going to sit between women," obviously because he thought that his religion stops him from doing so. And this caused a lot of fear in the people around them, because he spoke out loud, and people started saying, "Oh, you're a bearded person, oh, you Maulvi, or you Flan, or you Flan." And he actually smiled back. He said nothing. And he ended up actually and the steward actually ended up finding another seat for that person. And I was very happy, not because I agreed with him, because I would have perhaps sat there and in a manner which is befitting. But I thought that here is a person who bears insults simply because he thinks that something is wrong, and he would not do it in spite of the people making fun of him. He still sticks to what he believes, although I have my differences with him. So it made me feel that he's such a sincere person. I might not agree with him, but look at him, hats off to him, that he would go to such lengths to commit to the stance that he believes to be correct, that he would bear the jeers and making fun of other people. So I think that if people are sincere to what they believe, they are our biggest asset, and I would take my hats off to them. I would salute them.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was an amazing conversation that we had. I really enjoyed it. I hope you have too.
I did.
So, yes, thank you.
I never knew that I had these thoughts actually.
That's wonderful.
It's a question that made me answer you.
Okay, so let me end this session, and then we can go to the your opinion about it. So, anyways, thank you very much for this whole conversation, and I hope people will enjoy our rich and very informative conversation. So stay tuned, and please subscribe to Light Up with Shua, and I'm sure I will have more of Dr. Shahzad Salim, and you don't know the work he has done. I know to some extent, and I will be bringing his work to you. So thank you. We were very good.
I think the biggest thing that the contribution that you make with this program, Light Up with Shua, is that it's the spontaneity and the perhaps the experience and wisdom sharing that you contribute through. Because when you interview a lot of people, as you once said, that you even interview 4-year-olds and
Yes.
Young boys and
Teenagers
girls,
and
all
yes,
sorts of.
all sorts
So
of-
you have a cross section of people.
Yes.
So this is such a rich experience that you just cannot know. You just don't know that the biggest students are not the teachers, but the students themselves. Because what you learn from your students and what you learn from other people is so rich and so diverse that you just cannot learn it from books or maybe many other conversations. A single conversation makes you learn a lot, and also puts your own mind in perspective, and also makes you more precise, because at times you haven't thought the way these thoughts come out of you, but when you do make them, when you express them, you get to know yourself as well,
Yes.
that this is what you believe.
Thank you for watching part 3 with Dr. Shazad Salim. Hope you have already watched part 1 and 2 with him as well. Please let me know what you think of our episodes, and do share, rate, and review. And if you haven't already, subscribe the channel, please. And visit my website lightupwithshua.com. Send your feedback and comments. I would really appreciate. Thank you.